a bit more standard there. A Twisted Fate. We've talked about a Twisted Fate before, that whole hot and cold that you can get from him in terms of if he gets into the right lanes and can snowball himself, and maybe even more importantly, that bottom lane, the top lane, that's when he's good. If you don't time things right, then it can be a bit of a mispick. However, we know that Alexic is perfect usually when he has, for example, Rise with a teleport. And Twisted Fate makes it this one, but he's walked back in towards the tower. Let's see, Diamond looking to get in there. Couldn't quite throw him back, couldn't get in range for it, and it actually was a flash burnt by Soaz to stay safe.
Yeah, so true. You could see the tension in Soaz's face. It's like, I've seen this movie before. I do not want to have an instant replay of yesterday's matchup. But he's been zoned so hardly. Pekka and Alexic trading a lot of damage in this middle lane. They're both at about 200 HP. The end of the day.
And that's incredible there. They had Olaf to come back to really cover that one. And the interesting thing is that Fnatic knew that was happening to them. They knew that that three-man team was in the top lane. And you don't need to be a math genius to realize 3 versus 2 is probably never going to go, especially at this early stage where Misfortune is so strong, where Sona's poke is so strong, and when you've got that great crowd control, the fling and the fear coming out of Volibear.
I also think if I'm looking at the summer spells, their flash has been blown for Diamond Procs, exhaust and ignite for both Genja and Edward. So I expect it's been one of those rolling thunder flash tosses and then immediately just collapse upon him. So as you know, just getting jumped on, being caught out, he burned that summoner spell the moment that Diamond Procs showed his face in the lane, and it cost him first blood. So well played to Gambit Gaming. They're on the board a lot earlier than we've seen them getting on the board against Evil Geniuses yesterday, but Cyanide may want to reach, even the score up, but of course there is no Darien there for him to do so.
Yeah, we have them coming in. Actually, the AD support lane is coming back down to the bottom now for Gambit Gaming to try and push Fnatic away from this turret, but they're not going to be quite quick enough to get in there, and that will be second turret of this game going down. We're equal in the turret kills. Obviously, that first blood helping out with the gold. It's 7.2 to 6.9 thousand gold. If you look over at the CS, actually, it's pretty even. Aside from really that Misfortune and Kog'Maw, where Kog'Maw's doing a really great job up until now.
Well, this is something that I was thinking about at just looking at those CS. You see Pekka putting good damage into Alexic, but they've given Yellowstar time to free farm. A Kog'Maw with free farm is almost always going to give better single damage that the bullet time is going to offer. In a straight-up duel, you would expect the Kog'Maw to win if they've got equal items in that regard. So, interesting move from Gambit to say, look, we're not afraid of Kog'Maw right now because we've got the team play and the AoE to shut him down.
Yeah, but it will obviously be interesting later on, depending on how that Kog'Maw gets going and how much damage he's going to be putting down. We see that Fnatic have now switched 3 men to this middle lane. Only Alexic for now is there. XPK is now up to level 6, so we'll see that Cyclone surely coming out from him here. Actually did just level it as I looked over and wondered why he didn't actually have a point in it. He was just waiting to actually skill that in there. Edward coming over to cover. Diamond Procs coming to that middle lane as well, and that should keep Gambit safe for now.
Fnatic have done this yesterday as well, where they stack the knockups. They have a Malphite in there to get everybody from the unstoppable force, and then Wukong dives in and knocks everybody up while he's spinning like the crazy monkey that he is. And it's something you cannot negate. You cannot Quicksilver Sash out of it. You cannot cleanse out of it. There's nothing you can do about those knockups. If they time it right and they catch 2 or 3 people, they're just going to melt everybody. But the exact same can be said for Gambit Gaming. A crescendo that's going to be landed against multiple members is just going to have bullet time laid on top of it, and you're going to have Darien throwing on his ultimate and dealing damage over time. It's a very scary prospect for both teams.
Right now we can see that Darien doesn't seem scared of Soaz whatsoever. He's on the inner turret, just chipping away on it as Soaz tries desperately to clear out that minion wave that's pushing in towards the turret. His stun goes down. Darien will walk away once again with that Renekton. We didn't see that actually being banned out against him, so yesterday at least, and obviously not now because he's playing it. So teams don't seem too worried about Darien's Renekton, but from what we saw at Intel Extreme Masters Katowice, he was an instrumental part in their victories.
Yeah, so true. And if you look at this, 40 CS to 21. Admittedly, Soaz, was in the bottom lane. That top lane tower went down. Lost his tower early. Yellow Pete, gold card is down. Bullet time across him, and he may go down.
Bullet time did come across there. The ignite is burning, but it doesn't look like he will fall from that one. Alexic is forced to back away. Now Genja could be the one in trouble, as we are going to see the slow landing. Can they finish him off? He is a dead man. Xpeke picks that one up. Diamond Procs coming around to cover. Xpeke just decoying his way in towards safety, and that is a nice kill back from Fnatic, considering that was whole gank set up by Gambit.
And such a powerful barrier there from Yellow Star. That last bit of damage was just, you can see how low he is on HP, saved him from that kill, managed to protect the tower, and a great turnaround. It's exactly like we said, Destiny into teleport. It's how these ganks are going to be set up the entire time. The difference is Destiny's going to be available before teleport will be for Peke.
Yeah, and that's something that surely Gambit are going to have to utilize, as we see them here invading into that Fnatic jungle. The blue buff is there. They've got the wards to warn them early enough if anyone does try to come over. But from the looks of things, they're not going to have any problems with that whatsoever. And Volibear is going to take away the Fnatic blue.
Yeah, stealing that blue buff away at the 8.5 minute mark. That's the first time it's respawned. If they can keep Fnatic's buff control for the duration of the game, it's just going to give them all the more power in these team fights. The cooldowns, the mana, etc. To be very fair though, Wukong, Olaf, Soaz, Malphite rather, they're not entirely blue buff dependent. You want that blue buff on Twisted Fate. You want him to have as many wild cards as possible. Yes, it always helps, but it's not the end of the world because they don't have a traditional caster in that sense.
So this top lane again, Darian, after helping with that blue buff, did start to push back. We can see that he's got over or just under now as he trained it off a 20 CS lead. So he's doing a fantastic job in that respect. We see the Giant spell already finished for both of those top lane players now. There's a Doran's Blade added into that one, a few pots, wards coming in as well. So overall, Darian, he's going to be pretty safe up there with that Giant spell, with the wards to make sure that no one comes around the back of him, to just keep pushing.
And this is something, you're talking about the wards, that Edward is doing a little bit differently than any other support at the moment. He's gone for a Side Stone and the Ruby Crystal first, so, making me think it's going to become the Ruby Side Stone soon enough. But he hasn't picked up a Philo Stone. He tends to spend a lot of money just on wards, just for vision. That's it, hence the name Ed Ward. And Gambit Gaming have started once again a relatively early dragon.
Yeah, we saw, this, if we compare it to yesterday, is not relatively early at all, because that was a 3.5 minutes or something ridiculous, as we are going to see them engaging here. Peke going to get knocked up. His ultimate maybe not going to be enough for Fnatic in this one. Crescendo comes across. Here comes Soaz, though. He gets the unstoppable force across a lot of them, and Gambit, their health is diminishing completely from this one. It's already a double kill, as Diamond Procs will take out Cyanide in the end, but can Diamond escape from this one? He's got Yellow Star, Soaz, and Enrated chasing into him. They decide though to back off.
They end up trading 2 for 2. The dragon was not taken in that engagement, and you can see how powerful that passive is from Volibear, chunking over 40 HP a second. Those green numbers flying across your screen. But what a great initiation from Soaz. He dived in with that unstoppable force, knocked up I think 3 or 4 members in that engagement, completely mitigating the amount of auto attacks that can be put down from Misfortune. But bullet time was not used. Soaz was onto Genja quick enough to avoid that huge ultimate being used.
Yeah, that could have really swung things as well. We saw Xpeke, he did die fairly quickly, but he was in there. He managed to get the position that a Wukong needs, which is right in the center of the team. Knock as many people up as you can. He did a good job there, but we can see now that Gambit, after that fight, have decided to push once again, try to take the first dragon of the game. We're 11.5 minutes in. However, Peke is still waiting here off to the side. Edward specifically there needs to be careful, because he is so squishy, especially with that Wukong with the Brutalizer and a Vamp Scepter. If he was to attack him there, he certainly couldn't stay, but Genja just going in there will clear out the wards, and Gambit seem to have their sights firmly set on this dragon.
Yeah, they made it very clear yesterday against Evil Geniuses that they were playing very dragon focused. Super early. They had the 4-minute dragon, then picked the fight to 10 minutes for dragon. Eventually that led to first blood kill. Around 90 minutes when dragon respawned, Gambit Gaming were there again. The first 20-25 minutes of that game, it was literally all about the dragons. They cared more about that than they did for pushing the lanes. And again, it's slightly different to what we've been seeing in the Season 3, as most of the teams are pushing lanes and pushing towers. Great pink ward coverage has come out. You can see an entire river is just dotted with those pink wards, but a very cheeky Fnatic ward in that Dragon Pit. You can see it just to the left there is allowing them vision of this. Will they react though?
Yeah, nicely out of range there of that pink ward, but they have started the Dragon off. It's down below half HP. Diamond does have his smite available. Fnatic are slowly but surely coming down. Will they commit? No, they won't. That will be first Dragon of the game at 12:45, going over to Gambit.
Well played by Gambit. I wonder if that Dragon was in vision of the Fnatic members, because if they'd pulled it out just past the wall, it may not have actually been visible or not. So we didn't get to see the vision at the moment, so we can only speculate. But at the moment, Fnatic have now started to siege up this tower. Going to rely on those living artilleries from Cogmore to throw it up, and there we go. That was the Dragon vision. In terms of the middle lane right now, Fnatic continuing to apply the pressure, trying to siege up against Gambit, but they don't have any creeps, so that means they can't put any damage down into the tower.
Well, they are just holding up here at the side. Who is going to get the better of this one? I mean, Fnatic with all 5 men there. Gambit are sending Alex away, which, you know, the smart one at the end of the day, he's the one with Destiny. He's the one that can join back into the fight if he really needs to, but they need to make sure that they keep this tower safe, and you can see the entire time Yellow Star just putting out as many auto attacks onto that as he can, doing the damage to those Gambit champions that are trying to hold on to it, and it seems, at least for now, that it'll push Fnatic away and stop them from being able to put too much damage down. Something
that's very important to note about that little, trade back and forth, Darien lost a lot of health there. He'd taken a lot of poke. I mean, it was Seismic Shot, it was Undertow, he got turned into the little munchkin by Lulu, and, Cogmore was bashing away. But in that 2 or 3 seconds where he could not engage or could not fight because of his positioning, he lost half of his health points, and he's going to need to be more tanky than that if he's going to cause any sort of problems for the Fnatic backline.
Well, he went down towards that bottom lane just to push that one out. Of course, the outer turret still stands there from Fnatic's side of the map, but for how long? Darien is working his way in there. The AD carry and Olaf are on that bottom side of the map currently, so they should be able to clear that one out. Yellow Star also has that red buff, so Darien needs to be careful that he doesn't get caught out from that position, because Yellow Star will be able to chase you down, especially with that slow as well.
Both of the AD carries as well, mimicking one another's builds. You've got the pickaxe, Vamp Scepter, pickaxe, Vamp Scepter, on the other side, pickaxe, Doran Blade, and the cloth armor, just to reduce some of the auto attack damage coming out of Renekton. But interesting to see them going for that early power. They want the pickaxe now. It's a little different to what we usually see out of the AD carries, where they tend to go BF Sword, Bloodthirster, or Infinity Edge. They go for that BF Sword first. Pick up its 2 attacks onto the ward, but not able to pick up the kill, unfortunately.
Variant still farming up in this bottom lane. He's still a good 15-16 CS ahead currently of what was at least his top lane opponent. Malphite, though, now does have that Sunfire cape, and with Darien going home, I'm assuming that he's got plenty of cash on board to buy up, and there is that Sunfire cape coming straight out. Diamond Prox picking up the Locket of the Iron Solari, which we saw him using pretty much every single game at Intel Extreme Masters Katowice.
It's so powerful. When you think about the whole kit, diving into the front line, he's going to have Darien alongside him, getting in there, throwing that giant crocodile form on, get the damage shield up, and survive as long as possible. The survivability that Volibear is going to give you while his passive is up, plus Locket of the Iron Slow, plus the mobility he gets from Rolling Thunder, it's a very scary prospect. And you can see right now, Gambit have now decided to siege on their Fnatic middle tower.
They need to be real careful. If XPK decides, okay, game on, and goes in there, they could have a problem. But we see that the build that XPK is going for is not necessarily very tanky right now, which means that to be most useful, he has to be in the middle of the team, but at the same time, he has to survive it as well long enough to really do what is intended in that one. So that could be a bit of a double-edged sword for Fnatic. We'll see how they manage to put down the damage here. You can see Diamond being chipped away at by Yellow Star, and just trying to force them away from this outer middle turret.
Great damage from Yellow Star onto Diamond Prox's Volibear, just, chunking him down. Any poke they can get now means when Gambit or Fnatic do decide to go for that hard engage, it's just going to be that much easier to win out the engagement. And as you see, a quick shot there of Gambit Gaming. We'll get back into the game in just a second. Fnatic continue with the siege, continue with the pressure onto this middle lane town. Darien has decided to go aggressive.
Yeah, Darien did go in there a little bit, but you can see fall straight back off as he goes down to half HP. Here is Soaz waiting. will get flung back towards the team, but he doesn't really care right now. That Sunfire Cape pretty much just stopping everything from coming onto him.
That looked like the fling happened, but I think he flung Soez into the wall. I think because of the angle, it was through the wall. Volleybait tossed his arms up, and Soez went nowhere. So it was a very, very interesting rolling thunder, but no ultimates used, no engagement yet, and you just have to feel, when is the pressure going to go? There we go, the toss finally lands. They've committed to the fight. Darian's in and amongst the middle of everybody. Destiny is up, and a beautiful crescendo comes down. Where is the bullet time? Finally gets channeled, instantly interrupted by Soez. Everybody's gone low. Finally, the first two members of Fnatic drop. Triple kill for Gambit Gaming.
Yeah, that was a disastrous start for Fnatic. I mean, it's always dangerous. You have that with Singe, you have that with Volibear, that if you pull the wrong man in, he could cause you some real problems instantly. But with that one, Soaz didn't want to use Unstoppable Force right underneath that tower. And as such, he was forced to save it and save it and save it until, to be honest, it was too late to really make it count there at the end. And we see that Gambit pushing down now. They're going to get themselves an inner turret as well from this one, as well as that 3-kill advantage. And this is going to be a nice chunk of gold for them to go home and spend.
That crescendo was so instrumental in that teamfight victory. After some of the abilities had been blown and ultimates used, the crescendo came down and locked up 4 members of Fnatic, and bullet time was placed along the top of them. Soez did a great job in interrupting that bullet time. It would have been potentially an ace if that bullet time had been allowed to channel, but nevertheless interrupted Genja's channel and then allowed 2 of the members to run away to safety. But a good fight for Gambit Gaming. 2 towers, 3 kills, and they're looking very, very scary right now.
Dragon is actually up, as we are going to see Soaz here trying to trap Genja out. He's going to have to flash over the wall, but he's isolated from the rest of the team, and he is running the complete opposite direction, but they're going to let Genja get away from this one. Darian taking a little bit of damage there, and actually Genja was coming back in from that backside. You can see it there on the minimap. The Misfortune ran away, came back in. Obviously with Strutch, it's so hard to pin down.
It's so difficult to keep up with Misfortune, and really, really smart play from Gambit. They threw enough people into the Fnatic alliance to force them to step back, force them to go, do we want this fight? Can we get this fight? Make that little bit of confusion for Fnatic, because you don't want to be chasing a solo champion. So he's going to get caught up by Cyanide for a little bit of damage. Nice Living Artillery is going to give some vision, but I don't expect them to chase much further. And a very, very great disengage from Gambit Gaming is now Fnatic set up for the second Dragon of this match.
Wildcard's thrown in for Alexic. Stun card is pulled. Not going to have too much time left on it. And actually, that world timeout, but we are going to see Diamond and Darian both dive straight into it. Where's the crescendo coming from? It's not quite off its cooldown. Bullet time went across. There is finally the crescendo coming up. Double kill for Misfortune. It's going to be a kill for Sona, secured by Edward there. And look at that. It's a 4 for nothing. 4 for nothing. Darian and Diamond Prox went straight into the middle of the team. The Locket of the Iron Solari, that Sunfire Cape, giving them the tankiness that they needed to stay alive, and they've got a Dragon off the back of it as well. That is a brilliant play out of Gambit Gaming.
And such a great destiny from Alexic as well. He came in from behind the team, down at the bottom half of the river, throwing those wild cards up, getting Destiny, making sure the full vision of the team was available. There was no fog of war, nothing nobody could, surprise them with. And the moment crescendo was up for Edward, he threw it out the very, very second. One of the things that's worrying for me for Fnatic, Darian and Diamond Prox were the targets. Yes, fair enough, Renekton and Volibear were there. They started the Dragon fight. Misfortune, Sona, Twisted Fate came late. But they didn't have any damage on that TF or that Misfortune at all. And they're not going to be winning team fights if they allow those sort of long-range AoE damage dealers to survive these engagements.
Yeah, and that's what kind of surprised me. I instantly looked as, they were all bunched up, but there was no crescendo. I instantly looked over towards Edward, realized it's on cooldown, but even without the control of the team that crescendo offers, the bullet time was across the entire team anyway. And as you said, they blew everything on the tanky 2 players in that lineup, which you just can't afford to do with Misfortune and Twisted Fate. They're hammering away at you at the same time. Genja is currently doing the red buff on the Gambit side of the map. The wards are all down. You can see there's a pink ward, 3 vision wards as well on that top side of the jungle. So Gambit right now have a really good grip on the map and on the vision.
And take a look at Edward. Once again, 208. He's, on the team that's got multiple dragons, has got multiple towers, so he's got some extra gold to spend. Does not have a GP10. Gone for, the Ionian Boots of Lucidity, cooldown reduction, so he can get his crescendo up more often, get those cords up as quickly as is possible, and just relying on every single member of the team to keep the vision up. Darien and Soaz poking back and forth. Destiny comes up from Alex and she gets interrupted by the knockup. Great play from Expeki, landing the flash into Nimbus Strike, and what a beautiful play from the consistently clutch Expeki.
Yeah, that's what you really have to watch out for with Twisted Fate. I mean, you feel like, okay, I'm Twisted Fate at the end of the day. I'm safe pushing here. Destiny's channel time is not really that long, and there's not all that much that can interrupt you. Well, if you take Expeki Soaz out of that encounter, then, you know, a very, very difficult one to really call. He thought he was safe, but in the end, just quite wasn't that thing, with Expeki obviously using his flash to get right on top of him. He's going to try and teleport away from that one, but Diamond Prox got the damage in there as Volibear. Now Enrated's being caught out. Darien and Genja hammering away on him, and Fnatic again. Alright, they've caught Alex Ich out there, but for what price now?
They don't have the vision. They do not have the same vision. You look at that mini-map, you can see there's absolutely no wards on that bottom half of the map. And, you know, what was Becky doing that deep? Yes, he got a very nice kill, but you can see Yellowstar had recalled. He went to spend some money, played a bit safe because they did not need to be that overextended. Unfortunately, Becky didn't quite get the memo and he got caught out. And I think Enrated was just trying to ward. You know, it's one of those situations, you can see the ward near the river. He just wanted to get up there, put a little bit of vision down to prevent it happening. And unfortunately, he got caught out, a victim of his own circumstances. Another pink ward coming up from Gambit Gaming. The amount of vision wards that this team has put down on this map, and I think that they did at IEM as well, it's just exceptional, and it shows what a difference it can make on the game.
Yeah, a massive difference. You're right with that one. And Soaz here is being chased by Diamond. Expeki will actually just decoy away to safety, but Diamond, he's very tanky, and with that Aegis in there on top of the Locket, you've got the Sunfire Cape obviously on the other side. I mean, Fnatic, they're not without their tankiness either. You've got Sunfire Cape on both Malphite and on Olaf. A second Giant Spell actually being finished off earlier on by Malphite as well. So they've got decent health in there, but if they keep getting caught out, they're going to have that disadvantage when it comes towards the items. And Gambit up until now have chained all their ultimates together perfectly. Here we go. Soaz actually going to go in there without really having vision. Here comes Alex Ich. Is he going to come from the backside? Yes, he is. He will Destiny in there. What's it going to mean for them? First kill has already come down. Double kill it will be in the end. Cyanide trying to escape. Flash finisher there. And a triple kill coming out for Darien. It was Genja who get that kill onto Olaf, and he's now on a rampage. Soaz, look, ironically enough, the man that was first in there to face check that area with absolutely no vision was the only one to walk out alive.
And what great game sense from Gambit. They knew that Soaz was the face checker. They knew, look, Soaz is the scout. The rest of the team is going to be close by. So that's what the team did. They focused their attention towards the river, move forward, and yet another amazing crescendo from Edward, catching 3 members of the Fnatic team, locking them up entirely. I believe Becker was just outside of the range, but, you know, preventing it, the bullet time, shredding absolutely everybody. Bloodthirster and Last Whisper, there's no Black Cleaver there yet, but the Last Whisper and the damage from the BT was more than enough to decimate their HP bars. And Gambit Gaming tends
of swiftness on Misfortune as well, as if that strut wasn't enough when you're out of combat for it to escape or to get involved, in fact, in the action. Those boots of swiftness going to be helping. Also picking up that BF sword again. Got another Vamp Scepter in there, so maybe going from, you know, the way that we've seen Darien go before, which is double Bloodthirster. We saw it yesterday, I believe, in their game against Evil Geniuses, so that could be interesting. Giant's Belt picked up as well there for Volibear. We've got the Negatron cloaking along with the Warmogs and the Sunfire Cape on towards Darien. So just overall the bonus that they've got from that last 4-man takedown from that last Baron is just, I don't know if Fnatic are going to be able to handle it.
And Edwards, you know, looking at the items, looking at the, you know, talking about Genja's double Bloodthirsters, Edward is working towards a Zeke's Herald now. Now, Zeke's Herald was recently rechanged. We don't see too much of it as Darien does get collapsed upon. There's 4 members of Fnatic on him. He's just going to slice and dice, throw on that ultimate, carries on chasing. Undertow's going to catch him once. Now, Diamond Prox has joined the party. Coldamik is up. Are we going to see? There's the Wild Growth. That's going to knock him up. But take a look at this. Destiny from Alex Ich has now joined the party. Darien is still alive, but his ultimate is now run out. Crescendo from the backline locks them out. And Fnatic lose 4 members. That was 4 on 2. They got baited into it and simply could not do anything. Ace at the end of the day as well.
And that was just incredible. Fnatic chasing Darien, the tankiest man around right now. Diamond Prox comes in. They pretty much sewed up those kills before Twisted Fate even came in there. Volibear and Renekton against 4 men. taking up so much health. Then the rest of the team collapsing. Edward's crescendo again was absolutely pixel perfect across the entire team, and they just sewed it up in the end to really win that one. I mean, they're 1,400 gold now in the lead, 21-4 in kills. This looks like a different team again to what we saw yesterday out of Gambit Gaming. We know that they're a team that can do things like that. Intel Extreme Masters Katowice, I feel like I'm harping on about it, but that was an example of it, that they come in one day and they don't look good at all. They come the next day and they beat Azubu Frost and Azubu Blaze. So, the difference that a day makes. And
take a look at the scoreboard. We have to give props to the players. Yesterday, it was the role reversal. Yesterday, Gambit Gaming were the ones that I think had 1 kill on the board for the first 25 or so minutes. It was such a long time before they started getting any kill counts up. But Darian, 6-0-12. Diamond Prox Enrage has been caught out. He is going to go down. It's just a matter of time before they can chase him. He's going to get a speed boost as Darian comes in from the back, lands the stun, and Volibear will use that vicious strike to land the last hit. But 0 deaths on your jungler, your top laner, and your support. Edward, 3-0-15. You don't need GP10 when your team is playing this amazingly well.
Yeah, GP kills. That's what they got right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the Zeke's Herald is now finished up there. Lichbane is finished for Twisted Fate. What else did we have in that last buy round? Volibear picking up. Actually, that giant spell was already there. It's a Warden's Mail that he just went on that last time. So as is trying to push a little bit in this top lane, but Gambit are going to be taking another tower here. This is going to be another inner turret on this bottom lane.
Yeah, for sure. That's the 6th tower of the game there for Gambit Gaming. 3 members of the team are there. Renekton is just so powerful right now that he's playing the front line. They don't even need Volibear and Sona for this push. You can see as the creeps hit the tower, though, there is Alexish. He's now hit on the lane. He's with the tower. Darian's gone super aggressive. We see the Destinies coming out. They're going to try jump onto Yellow Star. Wild Growth immediately put down at him, but he's dropped so low. Unstoppable Force plus Cyclone comes out. They carry on with the fight, and Gambit Gaming are looking good.
They're not losing health here, Gambit. I mean, Darian has gone decently low, but Diamond is still over half HP. Cyanide goes down very quickly. One of the tankiest members of Fnatic being absolutely destroyed there. So far, Gambit not lost a man. They've taken down Olaf. They've taken down Wukong, and they're going to take down the first inhibitor turret in this bottom lane. The inhibitor itself falls down. Obviously, that's now the 2nd inhibitor picked up of this one. And Gambit Gaming, are they going to try and finish it off right now? 20 seconds for Cyanide, 10 seconds for Peke. But they are going to take at least 1 Nexus turret, and to be honest with you, they're tanky enough to have them both away as Diamond just turns around, pulls Yellow Star into the team. He's going to die. He's not going to be really doing anything with that one. And Gambit here are going to take down the Nexus as well and pick up their first victory here in the European LCS against the informed team right now of Fnatic.
What a show. Putting on a clinic, bouncing back from their heavy defeat yesterday. I think there's a lot of stuff to look at here for both D-Man and Jason over on the analyst desk.